by what we're seeing. Actually, it's very predictable. Uh, Behavior and responses are very predictable, and quite honestly, it isn't swaying my thoughts one way or the other. I I am pretty at this point. I don't know who I'm going to cast my vote for. I don't play the game of politics as the politicians would like me to play the game. I am very much concerned what's in the best interest of small business owners. Clearly, clearly, what is happening now in our country is not in the best interest of small business owners. Can things be different? Can things change? Of course they can. Of course they can. Can the president do some things differently than he is doing to create a better small business environment than there is? Sure, there is. Can Mitt Romney do what's best for small business? Maybe, unproven. We know we have a Mitt Romney has a history of a businessman, so we see what kind of decision making he has had with his businesses, and so we get a sense of business with his candidacy. Uh, Yet the president has the obvious advantage that he's been there for 4 years, good, bad, or indifferent. He's been there, and I made the suggestion over the weekend as I was. No, it was actually yesterday. Well, I do whenever I'm confronted with it. Uh, we need change in this country to create a better business climate. Not only do we have a huge problem of unemployment, and we're hearing this jobs, jobs, jobs. Yes, we need to be creating jobs because there are too many people who are not working. It then begs the question, is the environment right for starting a business right now? And I'm often asked this question. I was asked it yesterday. A friend of mine who was following me and watching the YouTubes and actually has the opportunity to uh, confront me 2 days a week. Uh, he said, "Well, I'm thinking about starting a business. What are your thoughts?" And of course, I guess my first thought was, uh, what type of business is it that you want to do? And then once I get an answer there, then I start to uh, pursue the questions that need answers if an entrepreneur today wants to start a business. They're not easy questions, they're tough questions. But so what? Uh, Starting a business it really, really, believe it or not, it can be a fun experience. It's a mindset, how much fun we want to make it. I got an email this morning, and this person, I guess they think they know me because they said, David, uh, I don't know who that person is. I don't know how they got my email address. They uh, they obviously got it over 3 years ago because the email address that they sent to, although I still get mail directed to uh, my my Gmail account. It's an old address that I don't use anymore. But anyway, I'd like to share this with you because it, it, it's a good email, but I don't think they went in the right direction with it. David, if you were to take just 1 minute and think how you spend each hour of a typical day, would you smile or would you sigh? Personally, I would smile because on a typical day, I have a good grasp of how I spend each hour, each waking hour. There's about 6 hours where I sleep, and there's about 18 hours of awakening period. And I pretty much know how I'm going to spend that time because I am very much a goals and objective type of individual. I have things that I want to accomplish every day, and typically I need, not only is it important, but I personally need to write them down, because if I don't write them down, I will forget them. Unless they're big, big pressing issues, I'll forget them. So I make a list, and then during the day, I keep that list close at hand, and during the day I check to see how I am working against the list. And also, too, I do something that I learned uh, from Brian Tracy, one of my mentors. Not only do we need to write down goals and objectives in our own handwriting, they should start. We need to keep them close at hand so we can refer to those. But we need to prioritize. We need to prioritize in A, B, C fashion. What are the most important things that need to get done? And then rank them downward. And make sure that as you go through your day, you are hitting those A goals first, B goals second, C goals third. Now, things could change during the day, and that's okay. Change is okay, as long as you make the proper uh, adjustments that need to be made in order to get the change. Because we don't know all the time what's going to happen in a day's time. I don't know that when I do a stick-ham broadcast or I do a YouTube, if the technology is going to be working. So what happens? What do I do if the technology is not working properly? I've got to make some kind of a change. I've got to not waste that time doing something not important to achieving my goals and objectives of the day. Okay. Her next question, Liz's next question to me was, would you be ecstatic about what you achieve and accomplish each day, or would you regret not doing what you really wanted to do? That's a confusing question, very confusing. Uh, yes, I get ecstatic when I achieve goals and objectives. Why not? That's what achievement is. Would I regret not doing what you really wanted to do? Well, I do what I really want to do. I am very fortunate and blessed that I can and do live my life that way. And it's a great place to be. And that's one thing that as I look back, my years as a small business owner, I haven't made tons of money over the years because money was never a big driver to me. But more important than making large sums of money was the idea that I could come and go as I please and do what I want to do because I wanted to do it and not because somebody else was telling me necessarily that's the way I had to do it. Now, along the way, I had certain responsibilities. When I decided to raise a family, I had responsibilities to that family. I couldn't just have two sons and then walk away from the needs of those two sons. I was their parent. I was their father. In fact, one of the things that I wanted to do and was able to do in my lifetime, I was a single parent for 6 or 7 years with the boys. That's what I wanted to do. That's what they needed me to do. And all the time I was doing it, I was operating a business out of my home. I found it, and the boys were older. It wasn't as if I had to uh, watch them and babysit them all day. They were, at that time, they were in junior high school and high school. Uh, but I had a business. I had a business that I operated out of the home. I couldn't get too far away from the home because there were parental parenting responsibilities that I needed to do, wanted to do, and so I did them. And in fact, I was a very not only was I actively doing my small businesses, but I was actively involved in their activities at school. Uh, as a parent, I was as visible as any parent in their junior high and in their high school classes. And my son Sam was in his high school marching band for 4 years, and I got actively involved as a band parent. And what did I do in that time? I I was in charge of certain fundraising activities, but it brought out my skills and my talents as a small business owner. So I pursued that avenue, and I was productive for myself. I was productive for the activity, and I was productive for the boys as a part of their growing up process. You've heard me talk a lot about when you operate a business out of your home, and most small businesses start in the home. It's not doesn't make any sense unless you have lots of investment money to have offices outside of your home where you are taking on the responsibility and expense of rent. In fact, I have never rented office space in my 40 years as a small business owner. Never rented office space. It wasn't a thing that I needed to do. It certainly would have been counterproductive. Not only would I have that monthly expense, but I would have time away from my home, and so I wasn't making most efficient use of my time. So yes, I am. I don't regret. I regret not. I always do what I want to do. Not always. 99% of the time, I do what I want to do. The other 1% of the time, I do what I have to do to, to, to achieve whatever needs to be done. Do you wake up each morning feeling passionate and excited about the day ahead? That's a simple answer, yes. I feel passionate. Uh, 2.5 to 3 hours after I wake up, 3 mornings a week. 3 mornings a week, I go and I am a cardiovascular trainer in 3 different classes, and I'm very, very passionate about that. Not only the good that is doing for me personally, because I need cardiovascular training myself, but the fact that I'm adding another dimension, a good one, to the 20 folks a week who attend my cardiovascular training classes. So yes, I'm very passionate about what I do, and passion's a great word because you've heard me say it before. My 3 P's about small business, particularly as you're starting the business. You've got to have those when you start, and you've got to carry them through. But passionate, Not just about business, but whatever we do in life. We need to be passionate about it. We need to be persistent about it. If it's the right thing to do, continue doing it and continue to do it till you can't do it anymore. If it's the right thing to do. Who determines if it's the right thing to do? You do. You do. And so I've often been, I don't know if it's accused or called, David, you're very persistent at what you do and how you do it. And my very simple answer to that is I'm persistent because it's the right thing to do. I wouldn't be persistent if it's the wrong thing to do. And the third P is patience. When you are in business, particularly when you start a business, there is the tendency to be impatient that things have to happen now. They've got to happen now. And if they don't happen now, they're never going to happen. And that is not the case. If they happen now, that's great. If they don't happen until tomorrow or to the next day, and they are important, then it's okay that they happen in the next couple of days. If you have it within yourself, if you can control the situation where you can make it happen now, and you don't do that, that's a problem. That's a problem. We only have control over our own lives, over our own destiny. We can't lose sight of that fact. We get hung up about what the other person is doing. And in business, they're always saying, what is your competitor doing? I don't pay attention to what my competitor is doing. I don't care what they're doing. It has no impact on me. They do what they do. I do what I do. If I spend time worrying about what the competitor is doing, I'm losing focus on what I do best. So that would be counterproductive. And then if I say who the competitor is, I'm giving definition to who the competitor is. Why would I waste time doing that? It doesn't matter who the competitor is. And my standard answer when asked the question, David, who are your competitors? And my standard response is the only competitor that I know is myself. The only one that I care to know is myself. All the rest of the stuff doesn't matter. Okay. Do you wake up each morning feeling passionate, excited? Of course I do. Why wake up if you didn't? Henry David Thoreau said, most men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with the song still in them. A great quotation by Henry David Thoreau. Here's my favorite quotation by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined. Thoreau. Henry David Thoreau has always been an inspiration to me. As a matter of fact, there was one time in my life I was actually in a college production which was the life of Henry David Thoreau. And I played a minor character in the play. I was actually a jailer. I had a jail, and Henry David Thoreau spent time in jail, not because he did anything horribly wrong, because he lived the life that he wanted to, and folks did not agree with what he was doing, so he was thrown in jail. Anyways, I had a scene with Henry David Thoreau. It was just the two of us. It was about a 7-8 minute scene. And it just so happens the individual playing the character of Henry David Thoreau was and is. I guess he still acts. Was a famous actor, uh, and so it was a thrilling time for me uh, to be in that play and to actually interact with Henry David Thoreau. Okay, then Liz asks, "Is this you?" The truth is, most people do walk around not taking their lives seriously. They don't think about how they spend their time to truly live, to truly feel alive. And by live, I mean doing what you really want to do. Do you ever get that spark inside you, that feeling you get that excites you when you think about the things that you love? But that you tend to automatically ignore because you don't trust it. Liz says, "I'm here to say that it's telling you something. That gut feeling is informing you to your truth. The feeling you to listen to it. It's telling you to act on it. But maybe it's been so long since you've listened to that voice inside you that you forget how to listen. Now, there's a way you can start trusting again so you can follow your path, follow that voice, follow your dreams, so you can be happy, feel alive, and live in your passion." Now we're coming to why Liz sent me this email. She wants to sell me something. And I actually went to a link, Live Your Life, and actually Liz was trying to sell me something for $7. And you say, geez, why did she take all that time to sell you something for $7? The answer is very simple. And in fact, this is how she markets. And this theme, the theme for this week is small business marketing, and what you can do, what you can say, how do you communicate the message of what you do to the marketplace. And this is how Liz communicated it to me. She's trying to sell me a $7 product, which I don't really know that I'm going to buy it. I can afford the $7, but she took too much time to try to sell me a $7 product. When I went to her link, Live Your Life, I got a long form, and I don't like long forms as a form of marketing. They work for other people. They work extremely well for other people. I just don't like it for myself. So I will never copy somebody else's long form. I'm more of a bottom line person. And that's part of the concept of the landing pages that we have developed. Very optimized, very Googleized landing pages. They are bottom line. They get to the point. Uh, you do the things that you need to do concisely, simply, get to the bottom line. If you want to collect their names and put them on an email list that you have, or if you want to sell them something, do it. Put it out there. Put it in front of them. They can choose to buy it. They can choose not to buy it. And the YouTube videos that we talk about, we do a YouTube video. We tell Google Plus that we've done the YouTube video. Then we embed that video on a landing page somewhere in our community. So the 365 YouTubes that I have created have resulted in 365 different landing pages in our community. Thank you, Liz, for your email because it gave me time to think about some things. It gave me some time to reflect upon some thoughts of Henry David Thoreau. And I'm going to go back and finish this segment with the quotation, my favorite one from Henry David Thoreau. Uh, I have it framed and I put it close to my desk. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. If you've had that dream and that passion to start a business, do it today.